Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. What is the point of having a tech session if you don't throw challenges at the tech? So, uh, Charath, are you here? Can you hear us? Can we have his mic? Uh, Charath was supposed to be with us here. Charath is Managing Director and CEO of Indian Fashions. He was supposed to be at the show, but he had some last minute glitches. So he's joining us through a Zoom link today. Uh, can we just check if we can hear Charath, please? Charath, could you say something?
Hi, Niraj. Morning. Can you all hear?
Yeah, great. I think we can hear you. Uh, so we are happy that the tech glitches got sorted out before we started the session in the morning. Charath, thank you for being here with us. I don't know if you can see the audience, but we've got a good scatter of about 50 odd people sitting here waiting to hear from you. Uh, I will take exactly 2 minutes to give a brief introduction about BIRetail, and then we'll hand it all over to you to share your experiences. So, quick introduction. Uh, I am Niraj Jaipuria. I am founder, CEO of BIRetail. What is BIRetail? So essentially, we help retailers make sense of data. As retailers, we all swim in an ocean of data. And as retailers, I think we all throw a fishing line and hope to catch some data, some insights out of that. What BIRetail does is it helps retailers weave a fishing net to try and increase the number of fish that you catch out of that ocean. So I'd say we are like, sorry, we are like data doctors. We help make sense. We bring a little bit of method to the madness. And I think there's something interesting here. Let me also confess that both these images were generated by ChatGPT, or rather, what is called DALI, right? Glad you caught that. I was supposed to put in that disclaimer earlier. Like I said, we are all tech people. We use a lot of AI, so why not? So we bring a little method to the madness, but doesn't every BI tool actually say that? Uh, so yes, they do, but let me start by saying that I don't consider ourselves to be a BI tool. Let's try to bring a little context to that. What would you expect as the features, common features of a BI tool? Probably integrate data from multiple sources, present a single view of the data, create good-looking dashboards, be able to drag and drop and create ad hoc reports. Uh, when you see a report, click, drill, do a root cause analysis, right? And of course, have reports pushed to your email. So yes, all of this is something that we do. So that covers the common base. But then we add a few things further onto this. We automate inference. So the platform provides the ability to write inference rules that a user of a report would typically manually run in his mind for each row. Net effect is that to look at a report with about 50 rows, if it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to do it manually, we bring that down to about 2 minutes. Now, having said that, all of this is what I consider only one part of the BI lifecycle. We call it reactive analytics. This is where the reporting comes in. We go further from here. Our platform covers the entire stack for analytics. So from reactive, we just like to quickly introduce proactive, predictive. While you're seeing what's happened in the past and trying to make decisions based on that, we bring the next stage for, we bring in automated and intelligent predictions for problems that could happen in the future smartly through rules. Of course, a lot of ML built into that. We take that further to what we call prescriptive analytics. Today, while a lot of retailers want to know what is going to go wrong, we believe that retailers want to know, more importantly, what they should be doing. So nobody wants reports, they want recommendations. So again, fair bit of AIML built into this. We have use cases which is a very comprehensive ARS solution. For example, we've got personalized product recommendations and recommending customer churn and activities to do around that. Right. Now, all of these are further layered by a cover of about 100 odd retail ready use cases that actually fast track a retailer to get action from the BI solution much, much faster. Right? In the end, even while I have all the recommendations, we understand that uh, if action is not carried out, everything else is a waste. So we've got a unique proprietary tool that we call transactive analytics. What this does is, I think one of the jury members had asked earlier, we bring in robotic process automation to take those recommendations and actually initiate action directly. Not just that, once action is initiated directly, it automatically tracks every action that was initiated to check whether it got completed. If not, there is an escalation matrix that tries to uh, empower enablement of the action. So this is in brief what we are. Uh, of course, the whole journey, therefore, is increasing the value for a retailer. Uh, so if I were to state that same initial question, who we are, I think it's a combination of retail domain expertise, some techniques, some technology that actually helps us guarantee ROI to a retailer. Now, does this work? Let's hear it from Charath. So Charath, hey, thank you for listening patiently, but maybe we can begin with a problem statement. I think everybody would like to know, where was Indian at, and why did you look at BIRetail?
Thanks, Niraj. That was very helpful. I think you answered half of the reasons why we actually chose BIRetail. Few years back, when we started the journey of looking at making sense of our data, I think one of the three things that I was very particular that I was looking for is uh, somebody who understands retail, especially fashion retail, because of complexity. Uh, Solution which is not just about technology and being just about tools, but actually starts moving into looking at solution, recommendation, and over time even actually trying to predict and help us to kind of look into the future as to what we should be doing. Uh, that's kind of what I felt I saw in BI retail and that's when we started. Like all companies, the landscape was tons of Excel, lots of merchandisers, pouring over data, what used to take days to make sense out of. Purely a lot of lost time, and time is the only major resource that we as retailers have. Right? So, and I felt that we had to move beyond just collecting this Excel sheet of VLOOKUPs. That was a kind of landscape. From there, the idea was to look for a solution which kind of eliminates all this, starts moving towards freeing up my team's resources to focus on making sense of what they're doing and not just spending time on Excel sheets and VLOOKUPs and data dumps. Right? That's where we started this journey 5 years back. And I think today, as we speak the next 10 minutes, I'll be happy to share with the audience how we have moved across multiple layers over the last 4 5 years.
Yeah, sure. So I think why don't you take that up, Charath? So what's been the journey like, and what has Indian Terrain gained out of that?
A phenomenal journey. I think when we started first, all we did was kind of touch upon phase one of what you mentioned, right? Which is just cleaning up reports, simple dashboards, easy to use data, things that you take a few days now starts coming in a few hours into a few minutes. Was phase one about 4 years back. I think 2 years back, we moved into a whole new system, which was about making sense of our replenishment systems. Right, the biggest challenge for retailers is stockouts. Uh, Key things: identifying what should be where and when, and not just reactive, but actually proactive. To start planning rather than just reacting. And so the whole new ARS system that we have developed together, we've worked on using intelligence of the resources of other companies that you worked on. Building something unique in our system is what we are using now very, very effectively. And that's the data point. In the last 15 months, our overall efficiency, as we call it, which is stockout rates, dropped from about 16% on an average to about 9% now. Just to put it and quantify it, my estimation is that there are 1% improvement in stock out rates, which improves sell-throughs by about 0.5%. So we're talking about a 4 to 5% improvement in sell-through rates, which to me is about, based on your revenue run rate in retail, is anywhere between 4 to 8 crores of straight gross margin improvement. That that's on a base of just about maybe uh, one, a couple of 100 crores of retail revenue. So you can see that the immense possibilities are there if you can just keep scaling this up. Uh, and yeah, it'll never get zero, but it'll come down to a steady state number of anywhere between 6 to 7%, and I think that's healthy to begin. That's been the biggest single takeaway for us in the last 2 years in terms of driving and using this to derive a completely new system. But I think the important thing is, and you touched upon this earlier, is we were still doing these transactions manually, right? So data was coming from the system, the predictive tools were coming from the system, but we were still doing it manually with the whole merchandising team spending days to do it. That's what we have now automated in the last few months. The teams have sat and automated this, which is what comes out now as a recommendation, which is red, amber, green, gets translated directly into our ERP system as a direct transfer order to the warehouse. Uh, and so one person is now doing what took 4, 5 people to do across all 250 stores twice a week. Uh, so that's the kind of change we've been able to do in the last 3 months and free up space of people to focus on going out into the market, going out to the stores, spending more time to see this newer insights to be gained.
Uh, Charath, if you remember, a few weeks back we were talking on what more as a measurable impact you have seen out of beer retail. You mentioned something about markdowns coming down. Maybe you'd like to share that?
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. So because our sell-throughs went up almost 5 percentage points as a result of better replenishment, which is the right merchandise getting replenished to the right stores, because what we were able to do in this was, classify stores based on throughputs, based on importance to the business, based on profitability to each store. So you can have stores which are high throughput but low profit stores, traditional stores. You can have medium throughput stores, but very high profitability because maybe that's a franchise store. You need to really not just replenish the top selling stores in terms of turnover, but also the ones which are actually giving you the best profits, right? So the ability of the system is you can, and that is the beauty of BI retail. The way I have seen it work is very quickly you can tighten the engines which are relevant to your business, and whatever parameters you want to put in, you can put in. And then the system throws out the allocation and throws out the recommendation engines on red, amber, greens basis that. And it can be changed every 2 months, depending on how your business is constantly changing. In this case, we brought in multiple parameters. Um, Sale, rate of sale, stock levels, stock to sale ratios, store profitability, uh, store, store vicinities. When I say vicinity, distance from the HO, because we're all servicing from a single warehouse, multiple parameters brought into the recommendation engine. And that's what we used to arrive at this replenishment model, which is now driven up sell throughs 5 percentage more. That means 2 percentage points, 3 percentage points down in markdowns. I think 6 crore saving.
Great. We've got about 6 minutes to go for my session.
Niraj, we don't have 6 minutes. We have
I was
passed
just
our
opening
time.
it.
So we got to get on to
Sorry,
the actual stuff.
I
Yeah.
just said for my session, so I'd like
Okay,
to
okay.
open it to the jury. And if there are questions, let's fill that up.
So I didn't understand. I understood the whole concept of what you provide and the outcomes. Talk us through how did you go about it? Like, what was the process of improvement that brought your stockouts down from 15 to 9%? What processes did you
Okay.
follow? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the way it happened is, we defined a whole bunch of rules along with the team, from our side, along with Neeraj's team. They had case studies they had done for other retailers. We looked at what they had done, and what we did is write down the engines on which we want the replenishment to happen. Where should it go first? should be the rules as to the basis on which it could get replenished if it goes. If it is not available and it's not there, which is the nearest store from which it can be moved? If it is still not available, how can I replace it with the nearest looking design, which I think is in the same genre, basis logic that we have written in? And finally, if it is not available, then we just remove it from the store if it is not meeting a certain threshold or a certain rate of sale. Very early on, we predict that and say, listen, this is not going to improve any further. So you start marking down dynamically, instantaneously. So you don't wait till the end of 90 days, 180 days, but as early as 50th day, you can start off and dynamically start marking it down. So it doesn't go to, the typical end of season where it reaches 50, 60%. So we did all three of these on the basis of which we started creating the rules in the algorithm. And that's what then the system start taking over and automatically starts moving inventory to the relevant stores. And that then gives us a massive push to have the right inventory at the right place. What is actually now moving to the next phase, what we're doing is using this to help refine our whole buying, which is saying, "Hey, this has been the average quantity sell out, what has been the percentage sell out, where is it from?" We are now using this intelligence to say when we start buying next season, uh, what should be the quantum we buy at the beginning itself? How much should we expose at the first level? And what do we keep back as a second level exposure?
So just to add to what Charath is saying on the same question, see, essentially we are right now just talking about one use case, which is the merchandise planning module from BIRetail. There are a couple of more, improvements that we do. Charath will probably missed out is uh, dynamic base stock recalibration, especially for a fashion brand. So they thought that in the T Nagar store of Indian Terrain, they needed to keep 40 options of formal trousers, right? And over time, we helped them realize that probably you don't need 40 options, you just need 32 options. We also further help them break up that 32 options into saying, you need 30% of that in this price bracket, 60% in this price bracket, etc. So I think taking in dynamic market trends, demographic wise, category wise, is all going in towards helping reducing stockouts, improving sell-throughs. So, Charath, if in the next 30 seconds, if you can tell us, we've been discussing what we're going to do next with Indian Terrain. So maybe just a quick 30-second, 1 minute on that.
Yeah, two very interesting. I think the next pieces that we are working on. One is uh, we all spend a lot of data on what has actually sold, which is basically all of this is making sense from what has actually sold. So the source of data is basically one side, one engine of the source of data is the product that has sold. There's a very large piece of the engine, which is who has actually bought it, which is technically all this data lies on the CRM business, right? Most companies have a CRM. We too have a CRM. You know that. Uh, and there's another piece, which is who is buying. Actually, all retailers and we too, we have information of who is buying what or who has bought what, right? That piece is also there with all of us. But, but very rarely are we using this information to make sense to say, if we know who has bought what and what has been the history of our best customers, is there a way in which we can use this data to actually start preparing for what we should be offering? Can we use this as a kind of an AI tool to say, when I'm designing product ranges for the next upcoming season, how do I also use trends and also how do I use who is buying and who's most likely to buy what data to start doing the merchandise planning and right up to the design level what we should be doing, right? So this is the next big frontier as I see it, which we're starting to work on, which we just started. We rolled it out just last week as a pilot project within ourselves. So this is the next big frontier that we're going to capture, which is to look at making sense or making intelligence of all the information that we have, not just on product, but on the customer side to make that interface.
Sharat, thanks for this quick and brief thing. I know you and I can keep talking for hours on what we've achieved, but I'd like to end exactly on time. Thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody. Perfect.